Yeah, live action. Let's get it. Yes. Yes, 2 times. I know the vibes though. She like, ooh la la, we go. Ooh la la, they like, ooh la la, we go. Ooh la la, okay. Ooh la la. She like, ooh la la. They go, ooh la la. She like, ooh la la. Look, looking for M's like I lost a friend. Hop up out the bed like, where's the bread? What it do, people? You're now tuned in. Popovich. Popovich TV. And this is what happens when you go live and everything not said. 1 second. Like, what's going on? Might have to bring it back on. Like, that's a first. Like, that's a first. You're now tuned in. Popovich. Popovich TV. We live, we rolling, we unscripted, so sometimes things like that happen. We authentic that feeling back up in here one more again. So if it's your first time, then the question is, where you been? Over here on this side, we deal with sports, hip hop, entertainment, interviews sometimes, Popovisms 101, and motivation. I got mine in today. If that sound like something you can rock with, then before you exit and jump off the page, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, smash that notification bell so when I upload the videos, you get alerted. You get alerted when I upload the videos, and if it's not your first time and you've been rocking with the channel, good looking. But you know how I do, and you know how I like to start the show. Tony, there was no other way. We in the end game now. We in the end game, people. We in the end game because my cousin Tanya came home today. What up, T? I mean, I don't know if you tuned in yet. Soon you'll tune in. She got to get situated and shit. But she just came home, you know what I mean? Doing 4 unexpectedly, like, you know what I mean? Like when you coming home from vacation and shit, and you get picked up unexpectedly for some shit that happened years ago. And, you know, throughout the ordeal, I try to, you know, do what I can do to make it as easy as possible. And, you know, I know what it's like to lose, to feel so desperately that you're right, yet to fail. So she home now. We're going to give her all the support that she needs to try to get back on her feet, get back to normalcy. And, you know, unfortunately, not just men. For a lot of times, people think like when people come home, it's just dudes and niggas. Nah, it's women get locked up too. For some of the craziest stuff, some of them, and you'd be like, damn, I ain't know. But they also get the most least support. You know what I mean? Like on the visiting room, when I spoke about this, because I know I'm not an angel, I've been up top a few times. Dance on the floor a little bit, not as much as I would have liked to. I would have liked to see some more family members come through, even though I put myself there. And, you know, happy Monday is Monday, motivational Monday. I am your motivational speaker and all that. Nonetheless, I did dance a little bit, and you see women come up in droves. You know what I mean? A lot of dudes get visits. Then when you swing it on the back, you know, on the back end, and you reverse it like a circle, them visiting floors that the chicks be on, it don't be like that. Niggas don't be coming to check for them. But nonetheless, you know, I'm happy she home, get those calls. In fact, I'll let y'all hear a few of those calls when it's like, you know, this is Securus and you have an inmate calling from, you know what I mean? And speaking of jail and speaking of coming home, obviously I know what it's like to come home. It's a beautiful feeling. It's a humble feeling. It's a that feeling, and that's what I be talking about when I say that feeling. You know, getting off for the first time, hitting on one of your parlays, getting married, having your first child. You know what I mean? Good stuff happens. You know what I mean? That's what I be meaning when I be like that feeling, and this is one of them. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, with coming home, you know what I mean? Obviously, you can see that although you may have was stuck in time and the time stone, and you just sitting back and even though time goes on, life goes on, even though it doesn't feel like it for you when you inside. But when you come home, you say, damn, some of the same people they doing the same shit. Like, didn't I leave 10 years ago, 15, 20 years ago? Motherfuckers is still on the same corners doing the same shit, not being productive. And then you see then you see some people come home, they realize that. Because when you come home and you got a game plan, even if it's just a small game plan, one thing I think that people on the inside that's took their time seriously in this regards, meaning not let time do them, but do the time, because a lot of people do let the time do them. That's why it's that statement, and it's very relevant because some people will go in that wasn't smoking cigarettes, now all of a sudden they smoking cigarettes, wasn't on medication, now all of a sudden they on medication, wasn't, or at least you don't think they was dealing with the same sex, then they start dealing with the same. You can see people spiral down. And then on the other hand, you can see people come in and get stronger than what they was before they came in. I just talked about it, Detroit Red, Malcolm X, and a lot of people would come in, they was out of shape, they wasn't in the best of health, they was smoking, had all type of addictions, different drugs and shit that they was using, and they use this time to get cleaned up. But what I want to say is, it's almost like for some people, not all, when they come home, they got that glow. Like Bruce Leroy, like, who's the master? And you say, I am, when he grabbed his fist, you know what I mean? And one day you're fine. They come home with the feeling and that energy to win, play the curve and get nauseous, watching the spin. And it's like, damn, I've been wasting my time away inside, but also I realized I was wasting time on the outside. And now that I'm back with a second chance, you feel like an immigrant. And you be like, I'm being funny, but I'm not. Because, that is a stigma on them. And I think it's a good stigma. It's not really nothing bad. When you say, you working like a Jamaican and you only, you see people find new creative ways to get to the bag, or like a Mexican, you see the people over here in America, you know what I mean? And, we have so much riches. It's embarrassing sometimes. So where we take a lot of things for granted, and somebody that's just coming over here from maybe India, from maybe El Salvador, or wherever they coming from, obviously Kingston and shit, they come over here and they see like, damn, niggas is bullshit. You know what I mean? Let me get to this. You know what I mean? And they run and like 50 Cent in the race for the cheese, I run laps around niggas. Like, you know what I mean? And I just circle the block on you and I show you how it's really done. You know what I mean? Not all, but I just think that internal motor is like, damn, I just did 10 years, coming home, finish my book off, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do that. And then obviously also the flip side of that is people come home and they get caught right back up in the waves. Like, you just was doing 5 years. Now you got, kids to worry about. When you was inside, you worried about them, but it was really nothing you could do except get on the phone, write a letter, hope, your baby moms or your sister or somebody bring your kids up, depending on the age and that type of thing, where you could talk to them. Now you're physically home. Now you got to dive right back in. Or your cousin is having problems with her baby father, or this is going on, that's going on. You can actually start to get pulled in, various different ways, to where you're just extending yourself so much. Like the horse on, when they used to do to us, put the rope on this arm, rope on this arm, your leg, and then have the horses pull you. You can just feel like you're being pulled in so many different directions that you get sidetracked and you get sidelined, and you forget what you're trying to do. And that's why I talked about yesterday. You know what I mean? And you gotta be able to sacrifice. It's like, what do you want to sacrifice? So, shout outs to my cousin. You know what I mean? Shout outs to anybody that's coming home that did some time, especially if it was unexpected, like hers. And I don't put a business out, but it's like coming back from vacation and then they just swoop in on you. And, that's something from the past. And we're going to talk about that now. It's not in the title. The title is MonDaY Motivation, Motivational Monday. I am your motivational speaker. But we're going to talk about not just motivation. So speaking of your past coming back to haunt you, what's trending in the news now is, unfortunately, is Young Gunner, you know what I mean? You liking what you see? Everything designer, that's on me. The Chris Brown feature, one of his biggest songs, obviously, was with Chris Brown and Young Thug. You know what I mean? Atlanta's own. You know what I mean? Now I can say I'm a big fan. Like some of his songs. I remember when he came out to do the Biggie tribute, which I don't think they should have used him, and he had the words wrong. That was part of his highlights and lows, highs and lows of his career. And then obviously, unfortunately as well, sometimes when you're doing these shows or you got a channel and pop up his TV, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, smash that notification bell. So when I upload the videos, you get alerted. You don't really remember the days and the months and the times, but I want to say it wasn't that long ago, unfortunately, which his kid's mother was murdered out there in Atlanta at the bowling alley for getting into an argument with some dude. Then he came back and he killed her, unfortunately, outside the bowling alley. So condolences again to their family. But unfortunately, he's spinning in the news and he's spinning in the clip because maybe kind of sort of allegedly, you know what I mean, possibly some shit happened back in 2013, which is what 8 years ago, you know what I mean? Well, 9 years ago, well, yeah, 8 years ago, or some shit like that. Then there's something else in 2015, and the feds ran down on his house out in Atlanta, digged up the ground, broke down the walls, like, you know what I mean? Like, we hiding money in the walls and we doing shit like that, like you see in the movies, and I'm not saying that that's the case. I'm being funny. But they did say, the reports that I read, well, actually, I think I still got it plugged up for those that's not really familiar. Why not? Let's just read it real quick while we're here. I did have it right here ready. Well, I thought I had it ready. News. Here we go right here. 2 hours ago. Young Thug, Atlanta rap star, is arrested on gang-related charges. He was indicted with about 24 others, including some accused of murder, attempted armed robbery. The county district attorney has vowed to crack down on these street gangs. What else they got? The Atlanta rap star Young Thug, one of the most influential rappers to emerge from Atlanta's famously futile hip-hop scene, was arrested on Monday on suspicion of gang involvement, conspiracy to violate the Georgia Criminal Racketeering Act, law. The rapper, whose real name is Jeffrey Williams, was charged in a sweep grand jury indictment that identified him and 27 others people as members of the same criminal street gang, and charged some of them with violent crimes, including murder, attempted armed robbery. Mr. Williams has reshaped the rap world throughout the decade, plus career, and inspired a host of others, and earned 3 #1 albums on the Billboard chart. Like I said, I fuck with some of his songs, but not all. I mean, he not in my top 10. You know what I mean? And that's no shade. It's just what it is. What else is said? Democrat best known for investigating whether former President Donald Trump and his allies committed electoral fraud in Georgia, has vowed to crack down on the street gangs in Atlanta. But also, Young Gunner was a part of this, like I said, although the reports are saying so far that he hasn't actually been physically locked up yet. But obviously 27 others, and it's like, damn it, man. I know what it's like to lose, to feel so desperately that you're right, yet to fail. And when your past history comes up, that's first #1 too, before I go deeper with the young Thug situation. That's why on the channel, when I say I'm not a reporter, I'm not reporting on anything. I'm not a journalist, and I'm never going to speak on stuff that will incriminate people, that cases that is not public record already. This is public record. It's all over the news. It's all over the blogs now. It's all over these different social media platforms. So when I talk about things like that, it's for learning purposes, or what I give my spill or my take, not tea. You know what I mean? Of what I see, like what they did wrong, what they possibly could have did, and what could possibly be the outcome, so that maybe somebody can get something from it. You know what I mean? A lot of people look up to these entertainers, these athletes, these rappers and shit, these YouTubers, dare I say. And the thing is, when I was reading through the comments and some of these stories where I seen it at, was one of the overwhelming majority of the consensus is, why do entertainers and, well, mostly rappers and entertainers, I won't say athletes because they just, they work hard as from young to get to the lead and then they get the bag. But artists, you put the work in and you come from certain areas and stuff like that. Once you get to here, like they got 3 #1 albums. Why do you stay involved with possibly, and this is allegedly, the fuck shit, you know what I mean? And the gang activity. And I know some of the answer to that is, one, that's where you come from. So if you was gang before you became an artist, you still gang when you come an artist. It's not like, why drop the flag now? Or why, leave the gang now when this is what I was doing prior. Now when I'm in the videos, I can throw up, the dubs and, woo, 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 and ah. It look good because you got a whole bunch of people that's like you, like-minded. They rooting for you. Some probably praying on your downfall. Many men. But for the most part, it's like, yeah, he one of us. So of course we go and root for him, and we can identify with him because he's like us. So I see Lil Wayne and he claim, the Jim Joneses and everybody that, is gang affiliated, so they say or whatever. Obviously, not all entertainers and rappers are gang, but a lot of them are. So the question is, why don't they leave that once you get to the bag? Is it still because you need security? And we seen, we was talking about Whack and Nipsey and Big U and all that. And some people get extorted, some people don't. Do you got to pay or pay like you weigh so that you can have smooth sailings? Do they do it for security when you could probably hire security? And even though nothing is etched in stone, and there's obviously different type of variables because what may work for you may not work for somebody else. So you could say, even artists that's not affiliated and they got security, you still see them get chain snatched, still see stuff happen to them. And, just because you got security and all that, like we see, the color purple nigga with the hair and all that get punched in the club. He had a whole bunch of security. And even though it was just like a little sucker punch, people, that's opportunists, they wait for those little holes and those little spots where it's a breakthrough, and then they come through and do whatever they plan on doing. But the thing is, when you affiliated with these things, we see what's been happening in the news. And I won't divulge the whole conversation and go into it too long as far as a conversation I was having with a gang member today. You know what I mean? And I won't say what set and all that he from. But we was pretty much arguing like we always do because I'm old, but you black. And I'm standing on that. No matter what happens to me, it is what it is. We all gonna go, and that's that. That's you. There's nothing you can do about it. The only thing you really can do while you're here is live in your truth, be authentic with yourself, get right with the Lord, if that's what you believe in, because everybody don't believe in it. That's why you see a whole bunch of fuckery, and the buffoonery remains at an all-time high. That's why you see people celebrating death, disrespecting the dead. They don't give a fuck. They have no fucks given, and it's fuck you, you fucking fuck. Like the t-shirt, fuck you, you fucking fuck. Like, you know what I mean? It is what it is. But for those that do believe in an afterworld, another plane, when your spirit leave your body, that's the only thing you really could do so that when your time comes, because it's inevitable, just like Thanos said, run from it, dread it, destiny arrives all the same, turns the legs to jelly, and we all gonna have that same fate. Some of us gonna get burnt up, some of us may get shot, killed, stabbed up, crashed in a car accident. You never know how you're gonna go. Some of us may go out on top like Kevin Samuels, you know what I mean? And a lot of men wanna go out like that. I'm being funny, but I'm not. I don't know why women is making that seem like it was a bad thing. Actually, a lot of men want to go out inside some buns. It's one of the best feelings ever. You know what I mean? After you get off, then you die, as opposed to a bullet in the head, stabbed in the back, caught in the car, can't get out, burnt alive, falling from a building. Like them kids in the mall that fell from that balcony. That was a horrible death. And that's one of the images I probably could never get out of my mind. You know what I mean? Like, seeing that, because it's not a movie, and once the lights go off, you're not going to come back on, right? You're not that strong. But anyway, those are the only really things you can do while you're here, you know what I mean? But back to the conversation. This came about because we was talking about, is gangs here to stay forever? That's just what it is now. Now, we know before the is now that it's been gangs. You know what I mean? There's the biggest gang is probably the police and the government. You know what I mean? They run a tight ship, and they got missiles and rocket launchers and all that, and they undefeated. You know what I mean? Side note. But the way it is now, because we was talking about innocent kids dying and stuff like that, and I'm gonna tie it into the Young Thug and the Young Gunner. You know what I mean? And he just was like, this is better to just try to live right. And, you know, if you ain't with it, just mind your business and woo, 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 and ah. And I was disagreeing. I was like, nah, we need men, because we men, ain't we, to speak up and save the kids. It may not be your kids that's like, for instance, like I said, I don't, my niece, my nephews and stuff is now the younger ones. I got older niggas that's involved because that's the era they came from and that's what they chose to do. But for the most part, nobody young in the family that I know, and that's good. And if you can do that in your house, and he can do that in his house, like Open Word, we say, you get a car, you get a car, you get a car. If the fathers, the uncles, the big cousins, the big brothers can say, nah, you don't join the gang, you won't join the gang, you won't join the gang, you won't join the gang, then it can change. And this is another thing that I said, and we can't change it in that sense. We got to stop making each other the enemy. You know what I mean? Like I told y'all, when I walked in the juice bar, all turns, and it's all black niggas looking at me like I'm the enemy, like I killed their moms. And I had to come in there because I recognized, like, yo, peace, king, peace, brothers. Not because I'm scared, far from scared, you know what I mean? But just to try to diffuse any egos or proving something. Because I've been off that wave where I got to prove. The only thing I'm going to prove now is that if you violate, I'm going to do you dirty. That's the only thing I'm proving. Outside of that, if you be respectful, you be courteous, you be, you know what I mean, considerate, then you're going to get all the respect from Lee. You know what I mean? That's with anybody. I don't care what color you are, what lifestyle you live in. I'm going to respect you as a human first. Once you violate, you know what I mean? Because I already gave a couple of free joints away. So I already know for me, it's like, yeah, I'm going back and it's probably going to be for a while. So if I got to violate somebody that's being crazy, then so be it. It's going to be what it's going to be. And destiny arrives all the same. Turn your legs to jelly and get you out of here. But with that being said, and we can start giving that energy off, and then I was telling them, like, different times, you know, different eras. Like Jay-Z said, this is a fresh new era, got a fresh new hat, you know what I mean? When you look at the 60s and the certain type of music that was out, the Marvin Gaye's and his songs and tunes they were singing, and what's going on, and right on, brother, and right on, sister, and you know what I mean? Black and I'm proud, and proud to be black, and you know what I mean? That mindset, and what we talked about on the other show is sticks and stones break your bones, but words will never hurt you. That's a lie. That's all the way cat, because that's a lie. We know that words have power, and they direct power, and they're alive. They're lively things, especially when you speak them into the universe. That's why you should watch what you say out your mouth, because it comes back. Karma, the universe, however you know, categorize that. Back then, you had more of, you know, right on, and I'm a man, and a sense of community. You know what I mean? Whereas if you violated in school, you hear these stories, they're just stories now because you don't really hear it now. Now you hear, you put your hand on my child, and don't be touching my child, and child this and child that. And there's a lot of badass kids out here talking crazy, especially when their parents not around. But yesteryear, you know what I mean? You would have people, you know, a kid or somebody do something wrong, and the neighbor will be out the window like, Miss Jones, you know what I mean? Like, Anthony, I'm going to tell you Miss Jones on, you know what I mean? Then you get in school and your teacher's telling them, by the time you get home, you done have 4 or 5 ass whippings. And like, damn, everybody picking on me. Like, why is everybody always picking on me? That sense of community, that's gone now. A lot of people now is like, oh, mind your business. Don't say nothing. Even if you see somebody getting done dirty, females and all, you know what I mean? Like, we're the most protected. And you do see videos where a homie just took the skateboard and just bashed shorty face, and that was another hard video to watch, even though she didn't die. But just to know that a whole bunch of niggas is laughing, they thought that was gangster. That was some sucker whack shit. You know what I mean? I don't even know what happened to that dude. Did he get caught? Did he go to jail? Probably got homies in jail. That's ain't gonna do nothing to him because everybody's gang. But the thing is, we need to bring that type of attitude back. But now back to the gang shit. You know what I mean? And Young Thug. It's unfortunate if he did something in 2013 that he didn't get caught for, and now you done changed your shit around. You a big rap star. Mama, I made it. You making millions now, or you know, whatever type of deals they got. You know, they be having chains that cost your life, chains saying fuck your life, Drake line. And you made it. You in celebrities, you doing what you do, and then here go the motherfucking feds. Knock, knock. Who's that peeking out my window? Wow. The feds on me now. 50 Cent reference? And they come, dig your ground up, knock your walls down, take you and 27 other niggas, and lock you up for RICO, racketeering, murder, armed robbery, you know what I mean? Shit like that. Shit that you probably can never come back from. And obviously he ain't convicted yet. The article I was reading say he go to court on the 11th. No, on Tuesday, you know what I mean? Tomorrow on the 11th, probably to be arraigned and obviously plead, you know what I mean? Well, you going, that's the feds. And I've been to the state, never been to the feds, but the feds is worse than in some regards. And what I do hear is that police don't really violate niggas in the feds like that. A lot of people got a lot of time and they not having it. In the state, you will get violated crazy. I told y'all about Critical yesterday. Police beat a lot of the young adolescent niggas up, and it happened to him when he was in Cat Saggy. And the feds is different, but there's no trailers. You ain't getting no pussy magazines. And some people call it short eyes. You ain't getting none of that. At least in the states you can. And it's not like, I'm not saying choose the red pill or the blue pill, but it's like, damn, if you do got to go to the feds and for racketeering, you don't see many people get off. And then I'll say this too, because you say, damn, how do they keep swooping in and taking large, it's like slavery almost, like, you know what I mean? We gonna go take a whole bunch of these motherfuckers to America and have them work for us, and we gonna come get them in droves. That's what they doing to the young people. And I told y'all, if you familiar with the channel and you've been rocking with the channel, good looking. But I gave y'all a story when I was, on Rikers, when they swept the young boys from 116th or 115th on the east side. And I was in there with a young boy, you know what I mean, who was just, according to him, was friends, and he wasn't even in part of the gang, according to him. He could have been lying, but like I told y'all, if you seen that video, if not, go see the other video. But I believed him. He didn't seem like he was about that. You know what I mean? And he was really not scared, but like, damn it, man. Like, I'm really, my mom's is mad, and I'm really stressing out because I'm not that type of kid. They get us nowadays. Everything is connected. You know what I mean? Everything is connected through the phone, and if everybody ain't just talking crazy, you know what I mean, to each other, you typing it online, you saying it online, and everything is for clout, and it's all for sale, so you may get away. And it's like Ghostface. How you said them flower potheads must have been stupid. Tell me how the fuck niggas get caught with all that loot, kid. That's jet money, underground money, submarines and things. Too bad you fucked up, dummies. Like, too bad you fucked up, dummies. You get away with the crime. Then you make a video about how you got away with the crime, and the feds is like, oh, they on Twitter like, yeah, Uncle Murder said, don't say I ain't warn y'all. Feds on Clubhouse, don't say I didn't warn you. And then you hear how all them niggas be talking crazy, a whole bunch of gang niggas talking crazy. Where is that? What part of the code is that? You don't think somebody's listening? You don't think some agent somehow infiltrated? And they just waiting for somebody to slip up and fumble the ball and diarrhea out the mouth and say some wild shit, and now we got all of you. And then you go back right to the old Mark movies. And they're movies, but we know that art depicts life, and sometimes life can depict art. You know what I mean? You see, like in the Donnie Brasco movie, Goodfellas movie, excellent, iconic movie. Obviously, Joe Pesci, you know what I mean? Robert De Niro and all of the greats, you know what I mean? Leo, I can't think of his name, Leotti or whatever his name was. Iconic movie, you know what I mean? They robbed and they booked the cigarette joint or whatever, and they got all of the millions. And he was supposed to pay everybody. Obviously, he was a gangster, and he was, you know what I mean? That's just how I go sometimes. You at the lower bottom of the totem pole, you get whacked. You know what I mean? Whack 100, you get whacked. He was telling them not to be ostentatious with their shit, not flashing and flossing and doing it for the gram, because police get watching. The feds is watching. And I'm bringing this up to say they had to actually sit in the cars, waiting, falling asleep, drinking coffee, taking shifts to try to, catch the criminals, try to catch pictures and then connect the dots. That's why you see the wall with all of the pictures and the lines drawn. They had to actually do police work. And it's hard to catch, you know what I mean? The people at the top, because they wasn't talking on the phone, write shit down, then rip the letter up, or however they was doing it, patting niggas down, making sure they didn't have no wires on them. And that's how they end up ultimately getting caught, a lot of the criminals, especially in organized crime. Nowadays, niggas is not organized at all. Can't even think. You can't even read. You don't even got your GED, more or less, ABC, you know what I mean? I got mine upstate. I'm being funny, but I'm not. Niggas is illiterate. That's the facts. A lot of people. Even though you can still function, I don't mean you stupid. You still can function, and obviously you got a lot of functioning illiterates, you know what I mean? And I know I be butchering some words and shit too sometimes. But nonetheless, I did get that. But the point is, nowadays, like that was back in the days when I was young. I'm not a kid anymore. But some days I still sit and was a kid again. Nowadays, is they don't even gotta really do that much work. They telling you like, yo, it's hip hop police, it's Instagram police, it's social media police. So when you do certain things and you don't keep your circle tight, and how Jada said, and he said, and that's why. He said, damn, what he said? I know I be trying to get lines, and that's why outside. No, and that's why I never do. That's why I never do shit with niggas I don't know. That's why outside nigga can't fuck up my flow like J to the Law. You know what I mean? On that album. When you get away, again, who knows, if he actually pulled the trigger, if he told somebody to do something, did he make a drug sale? He didn't, all allegedly. If you get away, you gotta put so many barriers in between you. Statutory limits. It varies. Obviously, to my knowledge, still was no. I don't care what state you're in. To my knowledge, there's no statutory limitation for murder. It might be for the R word, but I think it's maybe could be 10 years or 7 years. However, that's how they was able to get Cosby, get a few other people. Robbery might be 5 years or 7 years. You have to know these things, and once you get away, now when you become in the public eye, you got people that could be jealous of you. You could be people that's still at the bottom that you didn't bring with you. And how T.I. said, it's a narrow road. Everybody can't travel. Everybody can't go once you make it. So the same people that you was getting it out the mud with in 2013, you may not be getting it out the mud with them now. So I'm not saying that that's the case here, that somebody told, but when you got 27 people, somebody's on the phone somewhere on social media talking to a chick, pillow talking, doing something that the feds has, been watching since 2015. That's 7 years ago. They got you. You know what I mean? Like, and so, you have to be mindful when you get caught up with stuff like that. And again, we see people getting taken away in droves. Like it's like this project's today. We going to New Orleans, Fifth Ward today. We going to Texas today. We going to swoop 20, 30 niggas out of there from ages from 16 to 35. That's generations. If they all go away for an extended amount of time, and we're going to go to Wagner, and we're going to go to AK projects, and we're going to shoot up to, Dunbar or whatever you at, or whatever city and state you might be in. It's not just happening in New York. That's why you see Mayor Adams, who is in New York, in LA. People is mad. They claim his ratings is going down because the crime rate is crazy in New York. And though it's still not like when I was coming up in the 90s, it's still not like that. And you'd be like, damn, how is it not like that, right? But I guess you just realize the realness and the fuckery and what people was doing out here in the streets without no gangs running crazy. Just people just killing for the love of money and, simple-minded crews infiltrate grimy crews. You know what I mean? Like niggas was just wilding for the bag and controlling of the block and the biggest kingpins. And yeah, when you're at the top, you may got to knock a couple of heads off. But it's still not to that, according to the statistics. And I don't see it as that either, as a person that come from that era to now. I don't think it's like that. And that's not to say this era is soft or none of that. It's all just killing each other. And but you black. Just because it was over some money then and it's over some colors now, you still killing each other. You know what I mean? But the point is, Mayor Adams, that's why he went to LA, went to New Orleans. And this is what he's saying out of his mouth. He's like, yo, we need to have boom, 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 open the door, ATF, ATF. We need to have them with a network that strings from New York all the way to New Orleans, all the way over here. Like we need to have this big network so that it's easy to catch these motherfuckers, and we need to get them off the streets. So what I'm saying is that for the people that's involved, from rappers to regular niggas, you think you're going, get your own house and get your own whip and all that. I don't mean real house and whip. You know what I mean? The gang terminal, and you're going to get your own set and you're going to be the big dog. This is what they got coming for you. And you may get close to there, you know what I mean, by doing the fuckery. But what is it all going to be worth when they swoop you in and they take you away and you gone forever behind some plexiglass, locked in a 24-hour lockup where they reading your mail, so you ain't sending out no kites, you ain't sending no secret coded messages, you dead. And like Nas said, you're going to die, like Kevin Samuels said, you're going to die alone. That's really dying alone. And you know what I mean? You're going to die alone because you're in the cell. So it's really nothing for you to, unless they poison you or you kill yourself, How you going to die? It's going to take a long time for you to die because you're by yourself. You ain't getting no physical contact. You're not doing anything. You're just waking up every day doing the same thing, stuck in the box. And that's not everybody. That's like the big dogs, the big people, or what they consider the most dangerous people that do control shit, that could get on the phone and say, yo, go do X, Y, Z, thinking they Scarface, thinking they God and playing, you know what I mean, sending out hits and shit. When they get them, they put them off to the forest land in the box. Like, you see, what was it, I'm marveled out. Civil War, right? After they locked all of the ones up that didn't silence the court papers and all that. You see what type of prison they was in? Under the water. And you know what I mean? And I'm exaggerating now to paint the picture for you. You may not be that dangerous to where you gotta put you under the water in some hovercraft shit. You know what I mean? And you in the cell that you know the food come in, there's no contact and none of that. But you will be in a maximum security where you just behind a cell dolo, and there's no person you even could get on your gate and say, yo, how you doing today? Like, you know what I mean? When you in the box, for those that never been, because the box is, in some cases now they trying to say it's cruel and unusual punishment. And I've been to the box a few times. And I know people that spend years in the box at a time, 8 years straight, 4 years straight, 7 years straight. In some boxes, you can actually at least talk to somebody that's next to you that's doing box time too. But for certain cases, you in the box where you're not even put next to nobody. So your only contact is when the prison guard bring your food. That's it. That's who you get to see. And that's it. And that's you. If you think you want to be the biggest of the biggest and the baddest of the baddest. And it's unfortunately, hopefully, they could somehow wiggle their way out of it because they made it to what a lot of people want to strive toward now is be a rap star. And everybody loves a star when he's on top. Swing on it. But no one ever comes around when he starts to drop. So you hate to see like, damn, you just reaching the heights, #1 billboards, albums on the billboard, but none of that shit mean nothing if you get 10, 15, 20 years for rap, for other people talking about shit that you ain't even have nothing to do with. That's how they fuck us over, because they know you don't know the law. You ain't gonna have no life situation where homie represented himself, went to jail, became a jail lawyer, and now you get yourself out of prison and sprung, you know what I mean, like Slick Rick, and now spring us free. Like, nah, you ain't springing yourself free. You're going to be inside eating that yakisobe, chili con corn, and it's game over. Like AZ said, game over. Finish him, you know what I mean? Like when the nigga closed the door at the end of Saw, when the nigga was in there, he trapped himself and he was laying on the floor, then he got up, you know what I mean, and walked out, slammed the door in the dark, left him in utter darkness. Game's over. Let's talk about this last shit though. Because unfortunately, you know what I mean, it's the weekend of Kevin Samuels passing, and I don't think I even talked about this, Kevin Samuels this much since I've been on my channel. Like a lot of y'all found him, he was in lockdown, and I watched this content like a lot of others. But he's spinning in the news now, and honestly, I want to talk about him in a few senses. One, K Slade just passed. Rest in peace to K Slade. Jewels just passed after K Slade, just a few days ago. From death row, you know what I mean? From death row days. Just passed, condolences to her family. May she rest in peace. May Allah have mercy, because we all out of here, you know what I mean? One day, and we don't know when. But again, Thanos line. I hope they remember you. You see how quickly, like in KC, it's an icon. Some would say more than Kevin Samuels, far as way in hip hop world. Excuse me, hip hop world. Some more call me. Hip hop world, what he did for the culture, ushering in, the straight stunting and being on the radio and giving people a platform and ushering new artists and, adding to the culture in that way, being authentic, not being a yes man and speaking his mind and stuff. And again, the day of his funeral was in Harlem. A lot of people came out, a lot of celebrities showed up. We don't know what Kevin Samuels is going to be. I don't think it's going to be like that, but only a day or two. Obviously, when he was in the hospital before he passed from COVID, and he was in the hospital for 4 months. Just think about that. Maybe that could be the reason people probably already thought he had passed, but he didn't. But the point is, a week later, 2 weeks later, that's it. That's it. And I'm bringing that up because, like I brought it up in the last video when I was talking about, unfortunately, the young brother getting killed right there in Harlem. and I was talking about it, and one of his friends was mad that I was speaking about it, and I was telling him, like, I wasn't speaking about it in a bad sense. I'm speaking about it as fucked up, that he lost his life, and he wasn't the intended target. You know what I mean? It's sad. But once the news spin the clip on you, oh, the teenager was shot outside of, what's the hospital? Harlem Hospital, Schomburg Library. After they do their little 2-3 minutes, that's it. You're done with. One, you're so young when you were a teen, and you die young. For all of us, you don't get a chance to really build no legacy. So you don't have nothing for nobody to talk about you. Only people that's going to remember you and reverence you, hopefully, is your family. And we know even in that case that's it. Just on your birthday, maybe a throwback picture on Gram or something like that, people will throw you up. And then that's it. And that's you. And once you dead, who cares anyway? I mean, far as you're going to have other things to worry about, in my opinion. So you don't see what the people put on you, whether it's negative or positive. But the point is, just like him, and obviously K-Slay is not like the young man that I'm talking about. Couple days, you heard what Remy Ma said? I'm disappointed that it wasn't standing room only in here. It should be packed in here. People should have been standing to the back of the Apollo to, send off K-Slay. And it wasn't. It was seats available. And so you see that he's gone, you know what I mean, even though he left a legacy, and I'm sure he's gonna be remembered when they start bringing up, the birthdays or the day of your death. People will remember you, stuff that you did, songs that you produced. But ultimately you go away. You know what I mean? And whatever legacy you left is what you left. So that's why I'm bringing it to Kevin, right? Because it's the weekend, it was Mother's Day weekend. Y'all know I don't celebrate, but shout outs to everybody. I hope you enjoyed your day yesterday. This is what I want to bring up, because there's still new videos coming out. Obviously, the 911 call was released, or I guess it got leaked, or they put it out because his death is being his passing is being investigated as it should be. Not saying that any foul play, but because he was a big figure, you know what I mean, on social media, self-made, dare I say, on Instagram and on YouTube, over 1 million plus followers. And he got a lot of people that fuck with his message. When you compare the two, and I'm not doing it for a negative way, see, people is mad videos about Kevin Samuels. It's not mad videos about K-Slay. But for some in the hip hop community, like, oh, you don't hear no bad talk about K-Slay, but you don't really hear no talk about him. Yet on the other hand, whether good or bad, because there's people on both sides of the Kevin Samuels spectrum. You got people that's making videos like he died broke, and he died with a, you know what I mean? And he died alone, and he died with a stranger, and a lot of different stuff. Was he a hypocrite? Was he a fraud? Was he this? Was he that? And then you got other people, the Marlon Waynes, the Dr. Umar Johnsons, and the T.I.s, and a lot of people speaking out and, if you will, defending, his honor. So I'm saying that to say, when LeBron James, oh, matter of fact, real quick, because I know Memphis was winning slightly, and I got Memphis for that series winning, but Golden State looked like they was closing in, and I don't think John Moran played tonight. Real quick, being how we talking about sports. Golden State came back and won. They won by 3. Let me see if John Moran played tonight. I don't think he did, though. He got his ankle hurt in the last game. Let me see, did he play? Nah, he didn't play. So maybe that's why. He probably going to play game 5. They're going to need him. It's 3-1. And obviously, who else won? Boston won, so it's 2-2. But anyway, LeBron James, when they lost in the finals to the Dallas Mavericks after the whole press conference with Dwayne Wade, Flash Gordon, and he was like, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4. I think he went all the way up to 7 championships, yet they only got 2. And I'm a LeBron fan as far as, his work ethic, where he rank at in the Mount Rushmore. Phenomenal players, probably one of one. You know what I mean? Whether he better than Mike and all, I don't think he better than Mike, but still one of the tops. Top 3 dead or alive, top 5 dead or alive. But when they lost, and they was up 2-0, if I'm not mistaken, and Dallas came all the way back. I think this was, 2013. Speaking of 2013, if I'm not mistaken. Came all the way back. Jason Kidd and them, Jason Terry and all of them, bust their ass, put the spanking on them. After they was doing the press conference and all, I think one of his last ones, when they lost, and he came out and spoke. he got a lot of flack because people were celebrating. Just like when he left and he did the decision, people was burning his jersey and people was real mad. You know what I mean? And when he lost, people was celebrating more. And that's why I'm tying in to Kevin Samuels after the weekend pass. He passed Thursday, if I'm not mistaken, and now we on Monday. You know what I mean? Or did he pass Friday morning? Over the weekend, when LeBron James said to the people, and you know, whether he was being intentional to try to stick it to people, this is what he said while people was laughing at his hurt, his pain, or the whole season. Once it's over, it's only one winner. But they was up 2-1, 2-0, and they was calling him not a closer, you know, really running them through the mud. But next year they came and won, etc. This is what he said to the people. He said, you know, we lost, and I know y'all happy. And I'm verbatim. I try to look for the video because I was going to play the video. But I remember what he said verbatim because it was like it was yesterday. The gist of what he was saying was like, when I go home, y'all can be happy I lost. But when I go home, I'm going back to my life. Like, my life is good. I'm LeBron James. I'm a millionaire. I'm rich. I got a beautiful family. I'm a champion regardless. Like, I'm still going to be who I am. My life is wonderful, even though this loss hurts. But on the flip side, when you wake up, you got to go back to your life. And a lot of fans and people took that to heart because a lot of people, and this is no knock on nobody, but this is how people took it. Regular bus drivers, you know, whatever little careers you got, you know what I mean? And you can have meaning in them. You can love doing what you do. But we do know a lot of people don't like their jobs. And I know that firsthand, being one and trying to be an entrepreneur and watching people leave jobs, etc. You see a lot of people when you go to work, DMV, you know, Dunkin' Donuts, wherever that, you meet people that don't like their job, and that's why you get bad customer service because they don't like being there. You know what I mean? You don't have mansions and flying on jet lists, and that doesn't mean that make your life successful and happy because happiness comes from within inside. But I'm just pointing out, a lot of people was even more mad than the decision that he took those shots at them. And I'm saying that in the sense like, you know, the people that's really still trying to go hard and making lies up, and it's like, the niggas did that much hurt to your heart, people? Like when they always say, who hurt you? For you to still make up lies, and he died broke, and he died this, and he died that, and he was this, and he was that. The bottom line is, he started a conversation. The conversation will continue. And although you have men mostly on one side and a lot of women on the other side, there's a lot of women who agreed, who championed him. You looking in the comments, you see people leaving their comments. Your life is still your life, people. So if you was a single baby moms, or your baby daddy ain't shit, or you overweight, or whatever it is, and I'm not trying to talk down, I'm just saying whatever your circumstances were before he passed, it's still the same. And that's what goes back to when I first started taking, even though I've been on YouTube for a while, you know what I mean, even before I really started going hard. But back to the election, when it was Biden or Trump, and I had this mask on in my video, and I'm like, no matter what happens on November 11th or 7th, no matter who you voted for, no matter who's in office, none of that shit is going to matter or dictate and have an effect in the everyday life but you. So the next 4 years, if you're doing the same shit that you're doing, when the next election roll around, you're going to be who you are. And no matter where you go, there you are. And I'm saying that now. No matter where you was at before he died, and you know what I mean, and now in his death, your life is still the same. And if you're unhappy with your life, only one person could do anything about it. And that's you. And that's you. So, you know, you can be happy and joyous, and it might last for a week. It might last for 2 months. Who knows? People love stomping on the graves of the dead. You know what I mean? And saying, and I agree with this. I seen one person, what's her name? Claudia Jordan. She's like, why does it have to be, you know, when somebody died, you can't speak your true feelings about them? Not be happy, because she wasn't like happy, but why do you have to be silent? I'll say this. You definitely can speak your truth and be truthful. Why lie? You don't got to do it right away, though. In the sense of, I know it ain't no rules of like when you should do it, but when somebody just passed, obviously whether you love them or not, family did love them, friends did love them. That's not just for him. That's for any of us. You could wait. You don't got to rush to do it and join in the mob. So that's my only thing to her, because I seen that on her channel. But the thing is, no matter how long your victory lap or what you think your victory lap is going to last, your life is still your life. Yeah, he got up every day and put work in, changed his life from whatever you thought he was prior. When he was unknown, he made it to the fact where he known now. So where he all in your mind every day, all day, where you got to leave a comment, make up channels. I seen people making them profiles, because, you know, they call him Kevin Samuels. Some people was calling him Kitten Hills because they wanted to make him gay, you know what I mean, and little stuff like that. So I seen one profile. That's why I said, ain't no score like a woman scoring. That's why R. Kelly said, when the woman's fed up, you know what I mean? And the woman's scoring, like, there's nothing you can do about it. The name on the profile was actually Kitten Caskets. Damn it, man. Like, is it that serious? And are you really happy in your own life? You know what I mean? Like, what you display as well, whether you thought, you don't got to turn the cheek, because if somebody punch me, I'm punching them back. I might go hand, you know what I mean? So I'm not saying that. But I'm saying, like, the same way people is like, well, he got what he deserved. And the same, it's going to be the same thing that applies to you. Whatever you putting out there is what you're going to get. Why would you rush to social media, make up a name like Kitten Caskets to piss off the people that may have, you know, felt some type of way about him, to piss them off? Is it really worth that energy that you're going to get? Then obviously people come back in the comments like, you fat bitch, and you know, it's just like the war going on outside. No man is safe. I think nobody wins when the family feuds. Hove line, like, we all going to lose, you know, if we keep going at each other, and that's just what it is. And that's why we'll probably continue to be at the bottom. But a few more quick things before the time get too long. One is, I do agree with another channel I seen, black brother, and I rock with his channel. Can't think of the name right now, otherwise I'll say the name. But he like, we need black men. We need to create our own social media outlets, not just like being on Instagram, YouTube. You know, those platforms are cool, and a lot of people are doing good things and opening up discussions, making people have discussions about sensitive topics. And, ooh, they so sensitive. You know what I mean? Don't ever mention lips, like, you know what I mean? Say something when you go and end up apologizing. Let me know if it's a problem then. All right, then. Holler then. They doing great work. But if these platforms shut us down, I hear, who sell? Coach Greg Adams, shout out to the Coach gang, who I do like watching his live today. I think it's a man's channel pretty much. But anybody is welcome in. So I guess some women had came in, and he was like, welcome to all the new people coming in, especially the women. But if you coming over here, like, thank God, you know, the witch is dead and ding dong, you know, not being funny or talking ill, Kevin Samuels. But this is what he said. He's like, well, if you coming over here, I'm worse. Because at least Kevin Samuels was saying, even though no matter what people were saying, he still was preaching, get married if you can. And if you want to do it, you should do it early, and you should have realistic expectations, etc., etc. He was preaching that. There's people on YouTube like Coach Greg Adams and other people that's like, yo, fuck all that. You bitches ain't worthy of that. Which one is more detrimental? I'm not saying go flag his channel, and I like his channel. I don't agree with everything he says. But he was telling the women coming in, like, if you thought he was bad, then you probably want to run for your life over here. Because I'm preaching, like, till shit change and put a hole on that, free agent lifestyle. And although I'll say this, that people like he's a hypocrite, Kevin Samuels, that is, although he was saying still get married if you find the right one, if you go through the right steps and all that, I don't think he wanted to get married again. And thus, he's been married twice, and people bring that up. I've been married, then I'm divorced. Just because you was married and it didn't work for you, and then you married, tried again, is like, who would keep running to go keep trying to get married? Whether it's the person or not. Because, you know, you can say it's all him. Let's say it was him and it wasn't his ex-wife. Say he was the problem. Why would he want to do it a third time? Why does it make him bad that he's not married? Even though he was preaching marriage, I think he was living the free agent lifestyle too. Because if I'm not mistaken, if my ears don't deceive me, I did hear him say, speaking about escorts. And, you know, sometimes it's better to just pay for, you know, the buns. And then after you're done, they can go away, can go that way. And that's you know what I mean? For the ones that street walking. I don't think that's being hypocritical. He's saying if y'all wanted to get married, and if this is what you want, this is what you possibly can do. Maybe it might work for you. It may not. Outcomes will vary. But I don't think he ever got up there for none of the shows that I watch. And I didn't watch all his content because he is the Tupac of fucking YouTube. So many clips in his shows is 2-3 hours. Who the fuck got time to watch all of that? The point is, for the shows that I watched, I never heard him say that he wanted to get married again. He did it twice already, and he was bad at it. I never heard him say that he was perfect either. So the thing is, if he died with a one-night stand, so what? That's not a shameful thing. I mean, if you're religious and you on your high horse, you may say, well, you know, you was living in lust and you was out of love, and I could agree with you on that. All right, cool. He wasn't being religious and he was fucking a Jezebel. But that's not something shameful, obviously, if he didn't believe in that. It's like, I'm living a free agent lifestyle. I'm not getting married. I don't got no girl. So anytime I want to get buns, I can either pay for it or I can court and do whatever I want. So I don't know why women is shaming them for that. A lot of y'all have one night stands, you know what I mean? So with some people you probably forget. So, you know, I don't think that was shameful if he did, you know what I mean, and have a one night stand, so what? Or if he paid her, if she was a prostitute. He didn't speak against that. Like, I don't believe in having no prostitute. He actually said having escorts is all right. And if that's what he lived by, then how's he being a hypocrite? He was just telling you, ladies, if you wanted to get married, this is the stuff that you possibly can do. And I don't know no guys that, and I only been married once. I wasn't, as soon as when I got divorced, I wasn't rushing back to go get married. And I don't think really nobody, especially on the men's side, because the system is not set for us. So after you get fucked, not once, not twice, who the fuck is running back to go get married again? Especially if you got a couple dollars and you can get, you know, taken for alimony and all the stuff that the system is rigged to go against you. And I can see a woman getting married 3 and 4 times because it benefits you, especially if you get divorced. So I don't see why people was kind of like using that against them. And then lastly, you know what I mean? You can't shame a man and dying that way. Like a lot of guys, whether you believe it or whether you like it or not, would rather die getting some buns. It beats getting burned up. It beats getting in a car accident. It beats getting drowned. It beats getting killed by somebody that look like you. Oh, but you black. It beats a lot of things. Who the fuck want to die hard? Like Drake said, keeping it a buck. I want a quick death and an easy one. And me too. And that's me. I don't want to die horribly. So if you saying my last days on this earth is going to be getting some buns and then after I, you know what I mean, skeet to the wall, then I'm going to croak over, hey, I think I'm going to take that 10 times out of 10. I don't know about you ladies. After you finish getting off, do you want to die? Or maybe you want to die in your sleep. So that's a lot of people's death too. You want to die the easy way. So you want to die old age, which probably in your sleep, you know what I mean? And you don't wake up and you just stay sleeping. You don't want to get killed. You don't want to be walking down the stairs and your leg give out and you fall and break your fucking neck. You don't want to die like that. If you do, leave it in the comments. How do you want to die? What's the worst way of dying? I know I don't want to get burnt. I don't want to die horribly. And nobody knows how they're going to die. I'm just saying what I want. We're not going to get what we want because we don't know where we're going to go. And I thought that was funny how they try to shame him that he died that way. I don't think that's a bad way, especially if he just finished. You know what I mean? And maybe that's just some man shit. And then I can see why you wouldn't understand, ladies, because you're a lady. You know, you can't grab yours. You know, you get, we do the, and you get, that's just how it is. We didn't make you the way you is. Yeah, but the bottom line is, whether you happy with your life, and I ended on this, Monday Motivation, Motivational Monday. I am your motivational speaker, whether you like it or not. Thanks for tuning in. No matter how you was living before he passed, after he passed, your life is still your life. So if you don't like it, do something about it. Being on the internet, fighting with niggas, and you know, that's defending them, and every comment you make, making up pages, and you know what I mean, keeping along the fuckery, it's not going to really change nothing. The only way it's going to change is if you work on yourself. If you're overweight and you feel triggered when he had said dress size and your dress size was 12, even though some women wear 12s and 14s, good. I mean, I don't know if you're healthy though, but some women look good that way. Big body women. And some don't. But if you felt triggered and you're like, yeah, I was at 8 before, 8 years ago, 6 years ago, and you want to get back down, turn vegan, start juicing, work out more. You know what I mean? If you don't like the men you was with, look at, you know, why you chose them. And how Jamie Foxx keeps saying, he keep falling for the same woman, or I forget one of the songs, like, I keep choosing the same type of woman. Look at yourself. We all do. And hold yourself accountable. Nobody can hold you accountable like you're going to hold yourself, because it's a lot of yes men, it's a lot of yes women out here. So if everybody preaching to the choir, how do you look yourself in the mirror and change the shit that you find deplorable about yourself, if you will? And that's what I got for y'all tonight. You know what it is. It's your boy, Popovich. Y'all was just tuned in. Popovich TV, that's my show. We live, we rolling, we unscripted, we authentic, that feeling back up in here one more again. Yeah, kid.